If you having a good time, sleep is not going to be the thing you do that weekend there. The world actually celebrates holidays in August. Everyone feels a vibe in August. Suddenly we start sounding like one of them, like we live on TikTok, and every day is a crisis. I miss the notoriety does not equate to revenue. In this day and age, resources are limited, even if you're wealthy. Resources are limited. We gotta stop that. Put that away. You are in the concert to be present and be free. Welcome back to this episode of How Do You Divine? And today we reflect and hold a vibe. I'm your host, Sanika Nikki. And listen, this stick up pin episode is very special because it's my birthday month. It's my birthday month. And yes, you may be thinking like birthday month. The girl, we celebrate a day, not over here. Okay? In true Leo fashion, we celebrate the entire month of August. And now, if we're honest, the world actually celebrates holidays in August. Everyone feels a vibe in August. So, welcome back and let's get into it. In honor of my birthday, we're giving fresh episodes every single week. That's every single Wednesday. So, grab a snack, take a little walk, and lock in because we're making space for truth, growth, and a little bit of mess in between. Exploring how we grow, we evolve, and we do that together as a community. This week, we're talking teen talk drama, corporate cap, Essence Festival, SumFest, and that little deeper shift in how we gather. Oh, and of course, we're ending with full Leo season energy because duh. First, let's get into teen talk and broken communication. So I was mid-conversation with my teenager when I caught myself saying literally at least 3 times. I was like, literally, I can't believe this is literally just literally happened. I had to stop and said to myself, Sanika, girl, what are you saying? It is interesting. Having a teenager will hijack your entire vocabulary. You'll start repeating their slang and picking up on weird cadences and even mirroring their dramatics. And suddenly, here we are, all in the midst of chaos. Suddenly, we start sounding like one of them, like we live on TikTok, and every day is a crisis. I missed the bus. It's the worst day ever. I can't find my AirPods. Call the authorities. I had to stick a pin and remind myself, I'm a millennial. I'm not a teenager. And one of us needs to have an emotional regulation. Spoiler alert, it's me. Okay? If you have a teenager or a lot of young people are around you, take a break, take a pause. Maybe they may be affecting your communication style because I know my teenager has definitely impacted mine. So no more literallys. And if you hear me, call me out. Literally, what the literally? Pivot to corporate life for a second. Why are so many people using these fancy languages to say absolutely nothing? Now in corporate, it's let's align on the strategic levers that optimize cross-functional verticals for a scalable synergy. Say what now? No, what are we doing? Say it plain and say it straight. As someone who has sold, retained software, and built partnerships and coached leaders, here's what I've learned. Vagueness is a form of avoidance. If you can't say it clear, you probably don't understand it yourself. Generalization kills clarity, and clarity builds trust. So stick up in. If you're leading, stop hiding behind buzzwords. Precision is power. Take your time to articulate yourself, your mission, and what your ideal outcome would be. Just hold up in, stick it there, and take your time. Now let's raise the vibes. It is summertime in New York City, and if you already know what that means, rooftop rum punch and beer link-ups. Everyone is outside. For me, every single summer, it's like I'm honoring my 20-year-old self. Just because 20-year-old Sanika was not outside doing anything. 20-year-old Sanika was raising children, creating systems. So she wasn't brunching. She wasn't at the function. She was working. heads down in rooms, building my career and also nurturing my family. She was invited, but I wasn't out. So now I go outside for her. I flirt with joy for her. I laugh and dance for her. So stick a pin and celebrate the versions of yourself who didn't have the time, maybe the resources for a soft life. Give her a little something. Everything she didn't have, she can have today. So as someone who truly enjoys a New York summer, get into it because it's a good time. Okay. A very good time. And if summertime, wherever you are, can also be an amazing time. So please take the time, enjoy the spaces, because we only have one life to live. So if you get an invite, consider actually going outside. And speaking of going outside, let's talk about these festivals. SumFest, because woo, the conversations online are hot. I went last year and honestly, I had a time. Southern belles, Caribbean queens, Midwest mamas, African aunts, Blackness was blending and shining in all its form. Yes, there were hiccups. Yes, there were moments that could have been tighter, right? But the pros definitely outweighed the cons. So when I see all these heated conversations online and people dragging it this year, I have to ask the question, are we being too critical of our own? Or are our expectations not being set clearly enough? The Essence Festival in New Orleans is historic. It brings women from all across the world to enjoy and have a moment of sisterhood, that moment that we are not accustomed to, that moment that just feeds our souls and our hearts. There's something special about Essence Festival, and we cannot deny that. But as we grow and we evolve as a community, it is fair to question, is it still meeting the need? Is the execution aligning with its actual mission? It's fair to question, but how we question each other has to be different when it's within our own community. How we question what our expectations versus what we were given is rightfully so. But questioning the experience isn't justified. Because for me, as a Black woman, Essence has always been a beacon of love and honor for Black women. We should question the execution. Question the production value, question the amount of time and integrity it takes to put on such a festival. And then ask yourself, everything requires resources. Where are the resources? And if the resources is dependent on having certain sponsorships that we are no longer aligned with, let's discuss how those resources are being used. As we evolve as a community, I think transparency will be the key to unlock unity. Because there are strong emotions around sponsorships, experiences, concerts, the performances, their favorite artists. Each and every aspect of this festival holds an independent part of someone's experience, someone's life, right? I remember last year when I went and saw Janet Jackson, I was like, oh my God, this is Janet Jackson, the sister of the amazing Michael Jackson. And I recalled moments in my childhood when I first saw Janet Jackson. So that personal experience in conjunction with how the concert was being ran and seeing Regina King come on that stage and the way everyone held her with so much love and honor, and it brought me to tears because we love us some Regina King. And now hearing about what happened this year at Essence Festival reminds me that in order to properly execute an event, a moment where people are gathered, you have to honor everyone's experience. And at that scale, how do you honor everyone's experience while also being transparent about resources? How is this being planned? Right? It's like, it's a joke, but it's not a joke. In what areas in how the Essence Fest is being developed and planned can we tweak? I think it's very obvious that there are areas for improvement, but as a community, what areas would you like them to focus on first, right? Because there is not a thing of unlimited resources, and we should acknowledge that as a community. Notoriety does not equate to revenue. And as someone who has operated in corporate spaces that are evaluating margins and what's the difference between income and profit, I think we should take a step back as a community and say, we want this to be better. We want the Essence Fest. We want SumFest to blow our minds away every single time. But we're not holding the balance sheet. We don't know how much it costs. But I think what we can appreciate is transparency. Yeah? We can appreciate to say, hey, instead of us doing a 4-hour concert, a 6-hour concert, we're going to drop this down to a 3-hour concert to improve the overall experience. Instead of the convention center being open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., we're going to drop it down to 4 hours, because we want to make sure the moment you walk into the moment you leave, we are meeting your expectations. I feel like resetting how those resources are being allocated for what amount of time in what areas of the business gives everyone the opportunity to meet the expectation. Because I don't think anybody packed up their bags, corporate sponsors or not, and went to New Orleans, or hopefully lived in New Orleans, because New Orleans is the place now, to disappoint, to fall flat on their face. I saw a review that someone had a space in the convention center and they didn't sell not one thing. No one makes that investment open to fail. No one makes that investment thinking they'll get nothing out of it. And sometimes the things that you do get from these community gatherings and experiences aren't actual deals. Just make amazing connections. I walked away from Cannes Festival of Creativity feeling seen, feeling inspired, feeling revved up for what next year will be and all that I will accomplish. I walked away from Essence last year feeling like, oh, this is an amazing sisterhood. I met some awesome women. We became social media friends and we still stay connected to this day. It was really opening up what it meant and the layers and levels of being a Black woman. From the Southern belles to the aunties to the Caribbean girls, we were all there, and there was so many similarities but differences in us. I remember speaking to someone about spices and how I can't even take pepper. And she looked at me like, you was the worst Caribbean girl I've ever met. But it was a great conversation about food, culture, children, generations. Still my girl to this day. I walked away from Essence feeling like, that was a weekend with my girls, the ones I came with and the ones that I made. So it hurts my heart to see online that there are women walking away feeling like my time was wasted. My money was wasted. In this day and age, resources are limited, even if you're wealthy. Resources are limited. So when you use those resources to invest in an experience, to connect, to live and feel free, you want to feel like you're getting something from it. So it hurts my heart to see that online many people are feeling like they walked away with time wasted, connections not made, vibes not vibing, especially at home when it comes to SumFest. Listen, Jamaica, you're there. Everything about it, nice. People come to the island sometimes for the first time for SumFest because each and every night has a different theme, from dancehall to pop. There's no age limit. There is no race. There is no gender that do not find enjoyment in SumFest. Here's the thing. If you tell me, hey, this show might be running late, or here's how we're making the wait feel intentional, I feel considered. But communication is absence, frustrations grows. So I think lack of communication and misaligned expectations raised the level of frustration this year. So here are my 2 questions for the timeline. What qualifies a creditable feedback in 2025? Because not every rant with a ring light is gospel. Speaking from someone in front of a ring light, right? What makes that person's feedback creditable? And could better communication save the vibe? 9 times out of 10, yes. We don't need perfection. We need respect. And I think if we get more communications from the organizations, from the concerts, from how the shows are being ran, I think we walk away with a better experience. Which brings me to SumFest in Montego Bay, Jamaica, tradition versus trust. Now let's bring it home because you know me, I'm a big girl, literally. I need to stick a pin on SumFest. The pride of Caribbean culture, vibes unmatched. I remember being at SumFest as a child. 8, 9 years old, and I'm a linen suit with the little cutouts. The Chris shows them. Yeah, raise your hand in the comments if you actually attended SumFest before. So SumFest is part of my culture. I recall when, Minister Hall, formerly known as Lady Sa, was on stage and my parents pinched me. I was like, turn wrong, because she was up there go on bad with herself back in the days. So yes, I have been in the park to see SumFest at its very best, right? The conversations, the laughs, the jokes, but there's such a significant difference between a stage show and a concert. The expectations for each type of performance is very different. A stage show is all about vibes and energy. From the moment you touch the stage to the moment you leave, people are coming to go, yeah, rah, rah. That's the type of vibe SumFest is. Which leads me to believe that the modification needs to happen on the length of time every artist is on stage. And maybe stack the SumFest stage a little bit more or shorten the entire show down to just a few hours. As someone who did not attend this year but was definitely on the stream, boy, I have some notes for the stream, right? Because the stream actually had me laughing on multiple occasions. The man with the drone, listen, he was having a good time. I don't know what I'm give him, but he was in and out of that daggone park, in the audience, in my wrong the stage, in my the drone footage I thought was comical at best. I don't know if we really got a vibe of the actual SumFest. And SumFest does a great job of stacking the schedule with great MCs, right? And a joke that I heard is nobody come to SumFest with the MCs, but big up to the MCs. As an MC myself, we hold the vibe of the overall event. We make sure that, a good time is had and transitions are natural. And also add a little spice to the overall experience. But when the audience can see that there is something going on or something that's gone wrong behind the scenes, behind the curtain, essentially, that's where we failed, right? That's where there is room for improvement. As someone, again, who has organized events and big parties and gatherings and assisted on many different levels, it's important as the audience to know that when it comes to an event, a festival, a stage show, whatever you want to call it, people are gathered and music is being played. Murphy's Law is also in attendance. And for those that don't know what Murphy's Law is anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So the math around event coordination and putting on a good show really boils down to lowering those probabilities to ensure that the chance that something can go wrong is so slim that when it does go wrong, the audience doesn't even notice. That is where there is room for improvement in both SumFest and Essence Festival, because as the audience, we noticed something was going wrong. And on multiple occasions, right? But we can do that with love and honor to what it has become. Because for myself, SumFest has been part of my upbringing. And if you have never traveled to Jamaica to go see SumFest, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. The show itself is amazing. The patrons, the food, the vibes, but the parties that surround SumFest, Jaja, you will not be sleeping that weekend, okay? If you're having a good time, sleep is not going to be the thing you do that weekend there. But speaking of Murphy's Law, when it comes to attending events and festivals, as we are deep in the summer, we want to get together and we want to have a good time and we want to create memories. I think it's important that we also touch on the techmafediat. which is also known as don't play in my face. Ultimately, I think a lot of the frustration comes from the lack of respect by underestimating the intelligence of your audience, that they won't notice something's going wrong. Trust me, they're noticing, right? What can improve that overall experience is by over communication. It is a methodology that I have followed religiously in corporate, in my consultancy, and also when I MC. I think no one is offended by a level of over communication when there are expectations involved, right? So Patriot buys a ticket, attends a festival, flies into New Orleans or flies into Jamaica, and they're here for an experience. There is an expectation. So once you know that an expectation is present, over communicate. The show I gonna start 1 hour late. Listen, we put liquor water outside. We've made small accommodations to remediate the frustration of the inconvenience, because what is happening is people are just getting more and more and more furious behind the you take my feed yet? Or you playing in my face? Same coin, different sides. People do not want to be underestimated. No one wants to feel like you are not taking their concerns seriously. That, listen, you paid your ticket, so you want to take what you take. That's how slowly but surely the attendance for these festivals will start to diminish down to, I don't want to waste my money to waste my time, right? And as someone who truly, I enjoy these experiences. Essence, like I said before, was amazing. From the food in New Orleans to the ladies to the men I met. I met so many entrepreneurs. I met so many people just making moves and following and pursuing their dream and their goals and aspirations in life. And just also people who lived in the southern part of America, and this was their homecoming. This is where they saw their friends from college, their old colleagues. There are so many deep-rooted experiences tied to these festivals. Right? And this is my plea to the organizers of these large organizations is take a step back and remember that you've resonated with generations of human beings. And these generations of people are coming back year after year, time after time, not only looking for that nostalgic feeling, but also bringing their generation alongside with them, sharing those experiences with new friends, old friends. So honor the commitment that is that nostalgia. Honor the generations before, right? So when I think of Essence and when I think about SumFest, these are legacy festivals. They're not going nowhere, and they better not go nowhere. But how do we evolve it in today's day and time? Speaking of SumFest, listen, the stream was entertaining at best, but definitely a bit ad hoc. It felt like someone was being thrown in front of the screen at every given moment. And when there was no one to be thrown in front of the screen, they was like, put the drone man on, put the drone man, which I understand, right? Because in life, you can't expect too much from free, right? Because the stream was free. But is there an opportunity to create a premium experience? Listen, I don't want to be giving away no free gems on this podcast because that's what they pay me for. But there are definitely levels of experiences that can come from SumFest if coordinated and organized correctly, if ushered in this new generation. That's really what I look forward to also with Essence this year. Everyone felt the pain and the heartbreak from the disappointment of Essence. But as someone who did not attend and spoke to a few of my friends who actually attended Essence, they had a great time. Their biggest frustration coming out of there was, don't play in my face. Don't play in my face. If things is going to be late, let me know. If I'm coming to the convention center and the lines are going to be crazy and then you're out of product, send a notification so that people don't take Ubers and walk a few blocks to come over to see their favorite brand or their favorite activation, and the booth is empty and nobody's in there. It's the waste of time that I think is slowly diminishing the loyalty and the excitement for these festivals and these events. And we can't have that because, again, There are new community organizers growing and building and really killing it. DJ Puffy was here in Brooklyn, and when Mr. Demand shelled down the place. Listen, I did not get to attend. I actually passed by because I was on my way to another event. But DJ Puffy, big up yourself, because you brought Barbados and the whole vibe to Brooklyn, and every single person in the building left feeling like, yeah, I saw you on a shore. So how do we take these lessons forward without criticizing and critiquing and bringing down a whole entity, making these bold statements like, I'm never going to Essence again. I'm never going to SumFest again. Come on now, this is a relationship. And when you in the culture and you are part of the culture, we have to give each other a little bit of grace. There has to be a conversation that happens around, listen, how do we make this better? And then if time after time you feel like those pleas and those cries aren't being met, then we'll come to another, decision. But until then, now I think the plea is very loud. The feedback is enormous. These massive shows, these iconic pillars of the summer, needs a little reworking. It needs to be revamped, reorganized, rebranded. And I'm glad to see that the organization leaders are taking ownership and coming out and saying, I hear you, we are working on it, and we coming back better. Because next year I'll be sitting right here telling you how it went, because I plan to be in the actual stadium for both events. To me, to be in the place and in the space of these two magnificent, iconic events help add color to the overall experience. 5 people can be in one place and have 5 different experiences. And that we know for certain. What happens when one event has the ability to have different levels of experiences? It makes me think of SumFest, right? Because I was not in Jamaica, but my cousin was. And I spoke to them about it. And their weekend was amazing. They said SumFest was all right, but the party? Kulapet was going on. There was different parties going on around SumFest that really made the week amazing. But when I asked them about the show, they was like, listen here, Nikki, listen, never play with man time, So next year, I plan to be in seat in the stadium for both Essence Fest and SumFest. And I know, I have a feeling maybe I'll be on the stage. But ultimately, I'll be right back here on this podcast telling you about the improvements, the upgrades, because it is one thing to make a mistake. It's another thing to lack accountability and without making change. And I feel like change is coming. I see a lot of communications coming out of these organizations, and they're making it very clear. We hear you. We're going to make modifications, especially with some of the artists on SumFest who was coming for them directly. Messiah Masika, right? And also saying artists like Vibes Cartel has outgrown the venue. That could be true because Vibes is now a global star. But how do we create accommodations for Vibes in that same space? Because the space itself is iconic. Do we move SumFest? That sounds crazy. But we can change up the show. Sometimes logistical changes is really what needs to happen. They love the culture, but the logistics is not giving what it's supposed to give. So the question I pose becomes, can we honor tradition while still evolving to retain the confidence of the audience? Because SumFest is legendary. The band, the storage shore, but even the legends need structure. That's not disrespectful, it's stewardship. As we evolve in a digital age, and every single year, I want to say every single day, we're getting better. How are we building community in a more intentional way? But here's the thing. Thankfully, we're seeing a lot of new generation of community organizers stepping up, doing their thing. They're filling a gap that is necessary between relatability and execution. Yes, these events are happening on smaller scales, but what they lack in size, they make up for in soul and systems. These are the moments where the student has become the teacher, and they have found the secret sauce: intentionality, intimacy, integrity in how they organize these events and put them on. We're watching a new class of curators shift the entire game. It's not just happening in New York or LA. It's happening on a global scale. Community organizers are bringing back that feel-good nature. And again, I'm just talking head, telling you my thoughts on what I think would preserve the culture and amplify the impact. Because preservation, above all, is most important. These experiences that we have, we will pass down for generations of stories of what we wore, what happened, the things we drank, the music that played, the new artists that were on the stage that turned into be the big artists, which reminds me of Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour that has recently wrapped in Las Vegas with DC3 on the stage. Again, another huge moment of nostalgia. Because if you don't know Destiny's Child, what are you even doing here? It was beautiful to see DC3 and the Cowboy Carter tour, which has just recently been announced as the record-breaking concert. It was the most revenue generated for any concert in the world, something like that. I'll fact check that and put it in the description box. But I think the Cowboy Carter tour itself, again, brought out so much creativity and vibes. But so the way, I love the way that Beyonce had the ladies putting on their best cowboy fits. The creativity, the different artistry. I don't think I've seen so many women in a Michaels until Beyonce comes out with these tours. The Renaissance had us dripped in silver, and those that did a little gold, you know, and a little razzle dazzle and change it up. But Cowboy Carter really brought the people out, and it was just beautiful to see Beyonce not take back country, because we owned it to begin with, but amplify the impact of African American music and artistry in country music. And one thing I always say, love her or hate her, you cannot deny the work ethic and the amount of work that Beyonce put in these shows. Production value, top tier. Many can learn a lot of lessons. And Murphy's Law is also in the building. So how does she adjust for that? We saw that car tilted to the side, and we was all worried about B, but the show still went on. They made adjustments in the next few states, and the show went on and just wrapped in Vegas with DC3 and Jay-Z on the mic. I love a good experience, and I'm glad that these are the moments that we have to just be present. One thing I hate the most is to be at a concert and see everybody like this with their phone. You're actually, you're looking at a concert through the lens of your phone. We gotta stop that. Put that away. You are in the concert to be present and be free. Everyone wants to get they 2 clicks off for their Instagram story. It's required. It's expected. But not every monumental moment when the music transition, when she hit the 1-2, when another artist bring another artist on the stage, or they hit a one. We have to be present in these moments, or we will then only see it through the lens of our Instagram stories when you were actually in the building. So let this be a little reminder to you that get your Instagram stories off at the top, maybe 2 or 3 at the end, but be present in the moment. Oh my gosh, I've seen some awesome DJs that's down. Mr. Some man in a halfway tree, he down there playing music and have Beanie Man, a DJ right next to him, right in halfway tree, Jamaica. And I loved it. What I hated the most is when you look around in the crowd, everybody was like this. Everybody was like this. And I'm just like, yeah, get it off for the 1 and 2 times, but there's no honor in saying that, oh yeah, I was in halfway tree, I watch Beanie perform and see the whole thing here on my phone. It's not given. It's not it. To say I was in halfway tree and I saw Beanie perform, I got there with him, me and the girl them sugar, and I'm doing, and winding up by here, do you want to? Hey. To me, that's the whole reason to be there. Flick out yourself a little bit. Get in my burger. But if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to dance and actually be in the space and enjoy it, what are we even doing it for? But critiques and all, I'm so glad to see that we are outside and we are gathered and we are having a good time. I was just in France at the Festival of Creativity and I was blown away by the level of intentionality in everything. From the panels, to the parties, to the activations, to the networking. It wasn't about the flashy lights and the crystal and the champagne and everybody dressed because it was hot. It was about connection. From the outside, it looks like a lot of logos and lights. I feel you. But from inside, it's cosmic friendships. It's divine alignment. It's real collaborations born in real moments. They figured it out. People aren't leaving their homes anymore just to be a part of something or just to be seen or to wear a fit. We want to be a part of something meaningful. They want to feel free. We want fun. We want freedom with shared values and shared purposes. That's the real unlock. The sweet sauce is in between. I want to let loose, but I also want to be me. I want to show up and be seen. But do you see me? That's the question I pose to the larger organizations putting on these events. If your space can hold that, you've won. I dropped an entire vlog on Cannes because, while chaotic, it is not as much detail as I'd like because I was very much in the moment. The Cannes Festival for Creativity was remarkable because everyone came with a purpose. I'm going to meet someone, I'm going to collaborate, I'm going to execute. It was very purposeful. And when your circle starts to change in that way, my friends are better than pocket money, as we would say as Jamaicans. The circle of people that you keep around you will definitely help you stay focused on your purpose. And Cannes was just that for me. God is truly helping my tribe find me in a very interesting way that I'm enjoying. One day at a time. I love that I have found my sisters, my girlfriends that keep me uplifted. So shout out to you guys because I know you listen and support everything that I do. If you feel that shift happening inside of you, don't fight it. Walk into it. As someone who danced around it, come on, let's just own it. Glow with us. I hope that you're leaning into this version of your life. It could be your best version, your worst version, but every build up, come on, every setback, come on, church, is for a huge, huge triumph. As a true Leo, big lion energy, we all about giving back and making sure everyone's having a good time. Like I mentioned earlier at the top of this show, that it is my birthday month, and like a true Leo, everybody getting a gift. We going back to back all August because, and I may have some other surprises coming up. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. So whether you're decoding teen lingo, leading teams with more clarity, questioning festivals with love, and building your own corner of culture, stick a pin, pause, reflect. I want to vibe with us. I want to hear more of your feedback in the comments. Is there anything that you feel like goes unaddressed in the culture? What emotional drawbacks do you feel are coming up in this season? Thank you so much for watching this episode. My name is Sanika Nikki, and this is How Do You Divine? Stick a pin.